Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Renuka bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. Nation remembers India's stellar victory over Pakistan in 1971 war and birth of Bangladesh on Vijay Divas. New Delhi signs $1 billion loan agreement with New Development Bank for Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Indian Cabinet clears National Security Directive on Telecommunications sector for secure networks. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will be sworn into office on January 20. FAO warns desert locust swarms threatening food security of millions of people in Horn of Africa. And in cricket, India to take on Australia in first day-night test match at Adelaide Oval tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today led the nation in paying rich tribute to the brave hearts at National War Memorial on the anniversary of Vijay Divas. The day is observed every year on 16th of December to mark India's victory over Pakistan in the 1971 war that also led to the creation of Bangladesh. 16th of December, which is celebrated as Vijay Divas, is a monumental day in the history of world politics when just in a span of 13 days, a war was fought and a sovereign nation Bangladesh was born. The historic military victory was recorded after the Chief of Pakistani Forces, General Amir Abdullah Khan Niazi, along with over 93,000 troops surrendered unconditionally before the Indian forces. This was the largest military surrender and paved the way for the creation of Bangladesh. The war also unveiled the real face of Pakistan and atrocities it inflicted on its own people in erstwhile East Pakistan. Within 3 days of the declaration of the war, Indian forces were able to completely ground the Pakistani Air Force. Then came the historic broadcast by Indian Army Chief Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw on All India Radio, asking General Niazi to lay down arms. The surrender came on the heels of a tough warning by Field Marshal Manekshaw to Pakistan, "You surrender or we wipe you out." He assured them of the treatment as per the Geneva Convention.
They were soldiers. They carried out their government's order. I had nothing against them. They fought well, they lost. Therefore, when they came in, I looked after them. I put them in barracks. They slept under cover. We haven't got enough barracks for everybody, for their 93,000 and my own troops. So my troops slept on the ground.
On the occasion, Defence Minister of India Rajnath Singh unveiled the logo for Swarnim Vijay Varsh. Mr. Singh saluted the bravery of Indian Army on Vijay Divas. Bangladesh is celebrating Vijay Divas, Victory Day, to mark the day it attained liberation from Pakistan and became an independent nation in 1971 under the leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh in a Facebook post paid tribute to the Indian soldiers who fought alongside Mukti Bahani and the joint forces of Bangladesh and India. Considering the need to ensure India's national security, the Cabinet today accorded approval for the National Security Directive on Telecommunications sector. In order to maintain the integrity of the supply chain security, the government will declare a list of trusted sources or trusted products for the benefit of the telecom service providers. The list of equipment to be covered under this directive and the methodology to designate trusted products will be devised by the designated authority, who is the National Cyber Security Coordinator, NCSC. Telecom service providers are required to connect new devices which are designated trusted products. The present directive does not envisage mandatory replacement of the existing equipment already inducted in the networks of the telecom service providers. The Government of India and New Development Bank has signed a loan agreement for $1 billion to provide support to Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan through Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Scheme. The program will support government in mitigating the adverse economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic and enable economic recovery in the rural areas through natural resource management works. This will facilitate economic activity and employment generation to stimulate rural demand to combat the decline in economic activity due to outbreak of COVID-19. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan or Self-Reliant India campaign is the vision of New India envisaged by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on 12th May 2020. Its aim is to make the country and its citizens independent and self-reliant in all senses. UK Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. Recalling his recent telephone conversation with Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Mr. Modi stressed on the importance of the India-UK partnership in the post-COVID world. The Prime Minister called for an ambitious and outcome-oriented 360-degree roadmap in trade and investment, defence and security, migration and mobility, education, energy, climate change and health to tap the full potential of the bilateral relationship. This is All India Radio giving you the news. China and Russia have signed a protocol to extend an agreement between the two countries on notifications of launches of ballistic missiles and space missile carriers on Tuesday. The validity of the agreement will be extended for another 10 years. Chinese Defense Ministry issued a statement saying both the sides stressed that the signing of the protocol will further deepen the comprehensive strategic coordination between the two countries. Both the sides noted that it is conducive to join the maintenance of the global security and strategic stability system. Presidential Inaugural Committee for U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris has said that both the leaders will be sworn into office on January 20 on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. The committee urged Americans to be a part of the inauguration by watching from home rather than traveling to Washington, D.C. in accordance with public health guidelines. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, ACC, sued Facebook Incorporation on Wednesday over collecting user data without permission. The regulator said that it was seeking an unspecified fine from Facebook for promoting a virtual private network as a way for people to protect their data while secretly using the information to pick targets for commercial acquisitions. Now the coronavirus updates from around the world. Germany entered a strict lockdown on Wednesday in an effort to get soaring coronavirus cases under control. It has registered the highest daily increase so far as the number of registered deaths from COVID-19 jumped by 952. Meanwhile, France has announced night lockdown. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has warned that new desert locust swarms are forming in the Horn of Africa, threatening agricultural livelihoods and food security of millions of people. According to the agency, the new crisis could have devastating consequences for communities affected by recurrent drought, conflict, high food prices, and the coronavirus pandemic. FAO has said it is assisting governments and partners to respond to the crisis. The agency said it requires a further $40 million to increase surveillance and control activities in the worst affected countries next year. Today, Kazakhstan is celebrating its 29th anniversary as a sovereign independent nation. Relations between India and Kazakhstan are ancient and historical, going back to more than 2,000 years. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Yerlan Alembayev, ambassador of the Republic of Kazakhstan, shared his insights on India-Kazakh relations. He said India is one of the key political, trade, economic and investment partners of Kazakhstan.
In recent times, the bond of friendship between the countries have grown even stronger by recent bilateral exchanges, including the two last visits of Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, by bilateral visit in 2015, and the second visit was in 2017 to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit. So for Kazakhstan, India is one of the key political, trade, economic and investment partners in the region.
External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, greeted the government and people of Kazakhstan on their National Day. He reaffirmed India's commitment to further advance India-Kazakh strategic partnership. Moving on to sports now. In cricket, India will face host Australia in the first day and night test match at the Adelaide Oval beginning tomorrow. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite bhajan, Vaishnava Jan, by artists from Kazakhstan.
Vaishnava Jana tu tene kahiye pir parai jane re paradukhe upaka.
And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.